Hello and welcome to Business Today show on India Today Television. I'm Karishma Sudani and joining me today is Mr. Lokendra Saini, Chief Operating Officer of EaseMyTrip. Thank you, sir, for joining us on this chat. Quite a weather in Delhi today.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes, weather is very nice and enjoying this weather in a month like May is really, really good.
Absolutely. I'd like to start by asking you that, of course, it's the summer season and it's the season of travel and vacations. How are you seeing bookings across domestic and international sector on EaseMyTrip?
Sure. So we've been seeing a significant growth in our booking numbers, both on domestic and international. There have been, growth of almost 20 to 25% on the international front, and the bookings are higher by almost 40% as compared to the pre-COVID numbers during the same period. So all in all, the flight booking numbers are going currently at an all-time high now.
That's great. You're talking about it doing better than the pre-COVID numbers, but in terms of airfares, are the prices stabilized or are we seeing higher airfares?
Airfares are definitely higher as compared to, again, back, looking at the pre-COVID numbers. I think the prices are higher by almost 30 to 40%. But I still see there is a demand growth regardless of the high price, which is at least 9% higher as compared to the pre-COVID numbers combined of both domestic and international. But yes, the prices are definitely higher than the last time.
Mr. Saini, if you could give us some examples of the cities that are doing well, destinations that are fairly doing well in the domestic sector under the tourist sectors.
Sure. So in India, this time particularly of the year is summer season, and most people like to travel to hill stations and cold places, and therefore Srinagar, Kashmir area becomes all-time favorite. The Himachal area and the Manali areas are really, really good. Although most of these locations are not well connected through an airline, but the passenger traffic and the load factor is huge as compared to any other time in the past. From an airline connectivity standpoint, obviously number one comes the Srinagar route. And then it is, the Northeast India, the Sikkim and places like those. And, like always, Goa, it remains to be, one of the favorites for people looking out for some beach destination. And then there are places like Kochi and, Ooty and Bangalore also, where people like to travel for their holiday season. So these routes are going very, very high on domestic.
Great. And do you also see new routes emerging in terms of the international destinations? So we know that few of them like Maldives and European countries are quite on top of the list of tourist travelers, Indian travelers, especially during the summer season.
Absolutely. So, in terms of new routes, we still have to do a little bit of finding because the existing routes for a lot of common places are still not open. Like, for US, the visa is still a constraint, and because of which the travel to US is not as high as compared to the other European nations. But the European nations are covering up for all the loss which you might have as a travel company for people traveling to US, because travel to places like Paris or Rome or Switzerland and places in Germany see a huge surge during this time of the year, because you have to have at least 8 to 10 days of planned holidays when you travel to Europe, because of the holiday season of the students as well, the kids as well happening. We see a huge demand coming from the large sectors of Europe.
Got it. So if I understand the graph, then it shoots up during the summer season and then stabilizes on the tourist front and then goes back again when it comes to festive season like Diwali or Dussehra. Am I right?
That's right. Absolutely. So more than Diwali, Dussehra, it kind of starts getting peaked during early New Year or pre-Christmas time, when people also plan their holiday and also like to enjoy snowfall and a better celebration of a festival like Christmas, traveling to the Western world. So that is the period when it goes very, very high. But yes, if you talk about the business travel, we still see the demand uh, getting higher and higher. So while the period from May to maybe July is the holiday period or the family travel period, and the period post that till maybe October and is the period of work travel, which also is very, very high compared to any period in the past. So airfares, again, like I said, has increased, but the demand has surpassed the airfares prices.
Got it. And do you see that maybe because of the existing fleet size of various airlines, because we do understand Air India 2.0 is, of course, in its process to add additional aircrafts to its fleet. We also have other airlines like Akasa, Indigo, who have been talking. Is it the current fleet size that is contributing to these higher airfares?
Uh, so there are two ways to look at it. The airlines or the airlines, those who have very big fleet size are able to give a very, very balanced fare to their passengers in most cases, because they are able to optimize the seat efficiency in a far better way. And when the same thing goes to a smaller fleet, your prices are more or less static, and there are not many changes that you see. I mean, without getting too much of the technicalities of this, a higher fleet size always gives you a better pricing, better seat choice, and better, time choice of the travel. But yes, if you still see it from the small fleet size airlines, from the price standpoint, collectively, all of them also do not make much of a difference, because that becomes a factor largely of air fuel and operations cost and multiple other things. So because the demand is so high, and if whichever market we talk about, the economics plays its role, where if the demand surges the supply, the pricing automatically starts shooting up a little higher. So that's exactly what's getting into play here as well.
Okay. I'm not sure if we covered this, but in terms of the airfares hike, in terms of percentage, would you be able to give us some idea on a year-on-year basis? How higher are airfares this year vis-a-vis last summer, and also from the pre-COVID numbers, just a approximate, a tentative number?
See, from compared to the pre-COVID numbers, the airfares are higher by almost 30 to 40%. On the international front, and almost about 20-25% on the domestic front. But if you compare it from the last year, when airfares were already high, there is still a high of 10% to 12% on international, about 5 to 7% increase on the domestic. So there has been a constant rise in the airfares ever since COVID.
Yeah, so with the increasing fuel prices, the airfares are also shooting up. But I believe passengers are willing to pay, because the demand, as you say, has also been doing pretty well.
Absolutely. And so as the average spend that we see as a behavior change in the case of holiday bookings as well, people are now willing to book their holiday components, which includes their ground transportation, vehicles or activities and everything, well in advance, as compared to how it used to be done in a broken fashion until few years back. So I think now Indian traveler has started valuing convenience more than the cost, and that is a good sign on both sides, from a business as well as from a consumer change behavior as well.
Mr. Saini, you did talk about the behavioral change, so I must ask you this, especially for passengers and customers of EaseMyTrip. What's the kind of metrics that you see? What kind of airline do they prefer? We have Akasa, we have Vistara under the premium economy category, we have Air India. Which airline usually gets maximum booking in terms of passenger preference?
The pattern has been more or less the same if you see it in last 5 to 7 years at least, where Indigo in domestic kind of has the largest market share, almost in the range of 40-45%. But if you go a little towards the full service carriers, Air India and Vistara go neck and neck. They have their own share of about 15% each. And then if you collectively 15%, not each, and then you have players like Akasa coming up, and they add a kind of variety to the whole airlines industry by the way of introducing new aircrafts, new facilities. And I think, it's always good to see some sort of a novelty in a space where, since for quite some time you had almost the same airlines. So from a behavior standpoint, the largest domestic segment bookings go to combined of Indigo and SpiceJet, followed by Go Air and Air India, Vistara, and Akasa is also picking up really well.
Okay, got it. One last question, and this I have to ask you: what is EaseMyTrip's growth strategy for the upcoming year, and what discounts are you offering for this summer season?
So, very recently we have concluded our summer carnival sale, where we launched very, very good offers across all category of travel products, starting from flights to hotels to holidays, and also on cruise bookings as well as charter bookings that you do. In terms of a marketing strategy, we are absolutely clear about our brand visibility to continue the way we've been doing and try and enhance it a little bit more, as well as try and add a little bit of media marketing mix into it as well. We are now looking to add more advocates to the brand through multiple channels of growth, and this year is going to be more in terms of building more and more loyal audience base by offering multi-variety product services at an extremely competitive pricing, as well as through our market expansions outside of India, in UAE market, UK market, Thailand, Singapore, and many others. We are going to bring a lot of cross-border value-added benefits to our end users, which we hope is going to keep us differentiated than any other travel player in the Indian ecosystem.
Right, you did talk about the expansion plans. So any new destinations that you're going to be adding or routes that you're trying to tap, especially in the global market?
No, absolutely. We are looking at establishing our base in US in a very, very significant manner. We understand that Indians travel a lot to places like UAE and London, and Thailand being one of the top tourist destinations for us. Similarly, US is one of the top business destinations for people traveling from India. And by having our local presence in US, I think we will be able to establish a more stronger, presence in the travel space. Another big destination that we have in our chart laid out is Australia. Again, a very, very important destination, both combined of luxury and work travel, and also being large destinations, and a lot can be done in terms of promoting holidays and packages and multiple other things by having our roots on the ground. So yes, these two are the top destinations we have in mind.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing that with us and for joining us on this chat on Business Today Television.
Thank you, Karishma.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.